What's holding you back from what you want to achieve? What's keeping you from reaching a goal or realizing a dream? Many times the obstacles are not what they appear to be. That's what we're going to talk about, so let's get into it. Welcome to Leadership on the Run. Whenever something's holding us back, we need to consider two broad categories from this week's tool: inhibition and prohibition. To be sure, there are some real prohibitions out there, things we just can't do without serious consequence. Could be a law preventing us, or maybe a keep out sign designed for our safety. Hopefully, your goals and dreams don't include breaking the law. So let's move on to perceived prohibitions. One example might be a barrier. And while a barrier can seem like an insurmountable prohibition, sometimes it means we just have to find another way around. You can think of it as a detour. Earlier this week, I was at a conference in Oklahoma City, and I was looking forward to a long run along the Oklahoma River. I was excited for the opportunity because they have a 15-mile loop, paved loop, and I had a 14-mile run to do. But much to my surprise, about 2 miles into the run, I encountered a barrier, a 6-foot fence that extended to the river and then out to the street. From what I could see, from my perspective, I didn't know if I could jump out to the street, just get around that. So I turned around. I encountered a major detour. I doubled back a little bit, found my way across the river, and began to run again. And from that new perspective, I could see that barrier, and then what followed was a mile or more of construction along the path. So, what seemed like a prohibition was really just a detour. And I was on my way. Another example might be a hurdle, something we've got to get over. You might think of it as a bump in the road. Some bumps are bigger than others. Some vehicles can handle bumps better than others. Same for us. What might be a big bump for us might not be so for someone with more experience or expertise in that area. When we encounter a bump in the road, it may mean we just need to slow down and assess the situation. If we just roll headlong into it at full speed, we might cause some damage. Likely there's a way over it. So what seems like a prohibition might just be a bump in the road. The last one is a gap, something that needs to be covered or filled in. You might need to fill a position, create a process or system, or learn a new skill. I think of these as potholes in the road. We need to fill them in or cover them out. If we don't fill in that gap or cover that pothole, it's possible to get to our destination, but we might be in for a rough ride. The other side of our diagram leads us to our inhibitions. Lies, really. Usually based on fear or unhealthy self-preservation. This is where we like to bring in the straw man known as they. But they said we couldn't. Remember when we tried that last year and they said no? Who's they? Another way to ask it might be, who says we can't? Usually there's nobody behind the they or the who. Another limiting belief starts with the phrase, I'm just fill in the blank. Not good, not healthy, not true. Take the just out. Instead of, I'm just a manager, say, I am a manager. Fill in your word and know that you bring a unique and important perspective to the world. Limiting beliefs can be difficult for us to recognize on our own sometimes. So enlisting the help of a person who knows you well, or maybe a coach, to help draw these out can be really helpful. You want to identify which of these limiting beliefs might just be one form of prohibition. Then you can put them in their proper place and perspective. Now for your 100 challenge for this week. List the barriers, hurdles, gaps, and limiting beliefs in your life. And then what's the very next step you can take to overcome them? Remember, we can't give away what we don't possess. So do the work on this one and then move on to your X challenge. This week's X challenge is to teach this to someone else. Explain the difference between prohibition and inhibition, and identify the different types of prohibitions that we encounter. When you teach something, it really helps lock in the concept for yourself. Help your friend or team member see that there are ways to work around perceived prohibitions. The same is true for limiting beliefs, but we need to name them in order to form a game plan to work around them or eliminate them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this in the comments below. For those of you who have come along for the run, have you already tied today's concept into your running? Ever had a limiting belief on a long training run or a race? For sure. It's a common tale. Funny story from the Who Says You Can't on one of my training runs. I had been preparing for a 100K and was trying out a strategy during a 50K training run of running and walking, just to see how that would work. A lot of things going against me, not the least of which was I wasn't prepared for the mileage. In about mile 24, I usually listen to music when I'm running. About mile 24, I hear Boz Scaggs singing, "Why can't you just get it through your head? It's over now." And I'm like, what? And he says, "Yes, you heard me clearly now. It's over now." And I literally said out loud, "Boz, you just might be onto something here." Even though I scrapped the run for that day, it wasn't over for good. Will there be hard days? Absolutely. But don't let a bad workout or a shortened run derail your whole plan. By setting clear goals and appropriate action steps to get there, you can do just about anything. You might encounter a detour, a bump in the road, or maybe a pothole, but you can do it. Let me know in the comments below what obstacles you're facing in your training, and let's go to work to overcome that challenge. Who says we can't? Well, that's it for today. Thanks for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep moving. Remember, no one gets better by accident. Great leaders are intentional.